And this administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America. Millions of young people grow up in the sunlight of opportunity. But that is another America. And this other America has a daily ugliness about it that transforms the buoyancy of hope into the fatigue of despair. In this other America, millions of people find themselves walking the streets in search for jobs that do not exist. In this other America, millions of people are forced to live in dilapidated, substandard housing conditions where they do not have wall-to-wall carpet, but where they all too often have wall-to-wall rats and roaches.
My name is Anthony Lugomeno.
My name is Vernon Kalin.
My name is Deonica Monk.
Horace Belton.
My name is Catherine Darling.
My name is Ann Pittman.
My name is Jose Vasquez.
My name is Cliff Shaw.
My name is John Pagan.
My name is John Capello.
Charles J. Darden.
Poverty is like, that's the best way to describe it. It kind of permeates the soul. It gets into the body. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a question of not enough money, but it begins to affect your psyche, how you think, how you feel. And I'm so concerned when I look at young people out there and they're seeing their parents who are so embedded in poverty, and they begin to wonder, will I ever be able to move out of this myself?
Volunteer.
I am a dining services assistant at Captain Gardens.
Currently, I am enrolled and getting ready to start at SUNY Orange right here in Middletown to go for a radiology tech degree.
I currently am employed at the Western Orange County Recap, a Head Start program in Middletown, New York. I'm a KitchenAid there.
I am a volunteer at Recap Food Pantry.
I'm a volunteer to work at the food pantry on East Main Street in Middletown.
I am the lead pastor of a church in the Newburgh area called Church at the Bridge.
I am an Allstate agent. I sell insurance for a living. Financial specialist also.
I'm a partner in the law firm of Jacobitz and Gubitz in Walden.
I'm the executive director of Recap. I've provided leadership there for the last 34 years, and I'm very proud of that.
And I'm on the board of directors for Recap, and I've been on the board for the past year.
Rebuild.
I'm trying to help people out in any way I can, showing them where food banks are, where to get meals, volunteering my physical labor to anywhere that people need work done, and I'm just helping clean up and trying to make people happy.
I worked at the Fresh Start Cafe on Seward Avenue, where I did prep, cook, deliveries, stocking.
Doing basically the same thing, running prep, preparing meals, delivery, and the people at Fresh Start Cafe had recommended me for this job at the Head Start program, so it's been an excellent, wonderful deal.
I prepare food bags for homeless people.
I am the second vice president on the board of directors, and I've been serving on the board for about 1.5 years now.
Well, primarily, our job is to provide people with hope and opportunities to better themselves. So we have an array of programs that we provide to the residents of the county that will give them the opportunity to lift themselves out of poverty.
I am just finishing up as the president of the board for the last 4 years. So we have a new president coming in. His name is John Capello. He'll be the new president starting with this meeting this month.
I've been a RECAP board member for approximately 10 years now, and later this month I will be assuming the presidency of the board from John Pagan, who has done a wonderful job as our president for the last several years. I'm excited for the opportunity to continue the great work that RECAP has done over the last several years.
It's time.
I was recently released from New York State Prison. I had a 3.5-year sentence, and I told the prison system that I was indigent. I didn't have anywhere to go. My family had broken up. I had a beautiful fiance. We had 3 children together, and they released me to Newburgh, New York, to RECAP. And I was scared. The only time I'd ever been to Newburgh was to go there just to get drugs, and it was late at night. I didn't know anything, I really never saw the city. And when I went there, I thought it was going to be a big, long process. I didn't know what was going to happen. And RECAP was wonderful to me. I felt so comfortable with them. They offered me food, they offered me drink, they sat with me. I felt like they were part of my family. I think they were wonderful. And without their help, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I just want to thank them. They've been wonderful to me.
Wherever I go, you go. And that's how we interact. This is why I do a lot of, interaction with the prisons and people in prison to let them know that as you're there, don't lose focus. And start getting your mind together now, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, get your focus now because we want to keep you connected. And that's the only way to get, to stop and break some of these cycles.
Help your neighbor.
And I'm a volunteer at RECAP, and it's very rewarding for me.
What I'm looking forward to is to eventually make a career out of helping people in any way that I can.
I'm looking forward to being the manager of Cabin Gardens Kitchen.
Hopefully running the kitchen one day at the Head Start program, hopefully.
Do something.
But one of the most important pieces we're trying to bring is awareness. And the awareness too, even though in the last 50 years there's been great strides, there's still a lot to be done as well too. And I look at the people that come through here, that use our services, and the way the economy is set up, that could be any one of us any given day.
Poverty persists because right now the cost of living is going up, but the pay rate is not going up. So no matter what, no matter how much you make, everything's going up. You're not making enough to survive.
It always has existed, but it's just gotten out of control. The population explosion.
But I think mainly is because people are embarrassed to recognize that it's going on all around them, and they're trying to stay away from it and just not acknowledge that it's there. And that's why it's getting out of control in the United States.
I think there's been misuse of funds.
It's not one specific thing, it's a combination.
I think if it's persist because we're using the money in wrong places and not where it needs to go to help the people.
Look at the technology, look how many jobs have been lost. How many secretaries do you see today versus what you saw even 20 years ago, let alone 50 years ago? So when you start looking at some of the jobs that were available for the marginally educated and the uneducated, those jobs have evaporated. Those jobs are in foreign countries where the labor is cheaper, manufacturing is going. All of the high-tech manufacturing is in this country at this point.
Really what we're looking to do is to preserve the many great programs that RECAP has accomplished over the years and continue to vitalize and expand those programs to areas in the county that have greater need. We're excited about doing more work in the city of Newburgh area while continuing the work we've done over the last several years in the city of Middletown, city of Fort Jervis, and throughout the county.
I don't think America really knows how to deal with poverty. It's become part of our culture. And one of the most difficult things to do in any society is to change a culture. And in some ways, I look at it as some people get some reward out of the country being so enmeshed in poverty.
I think there are a number of programs that we operate that are essential for people to move forward. I think that people do not look at some of the barriers like chemical dependency and how it impacts on individuals and families. It frequently tears families apart. It frequently eliminates jobs and people can't get their jobs back. Oftentimes that leads to incarceration, and if you get a felony, that leads to limited job opportunities for you. We have a serious issue, especially in Orange County, with the number of mental health institutions that we've had. Therefore, we have a significant number of people that have mental illness issues in the county. There's a fear about people that have a mental illness, so they walk around trying to hide the fact that they have some emotional issues that may require medication. Oftentimes that is very consuming, financially consuming for the household income. There's looking at housing costs in the area, look at the number of vacant buildings or zombie housing that we've had. If we could put those zombie housing back on the units, we wouldn't have a homeless population. But because the rents are outpacing the income, and in fact, even an agency like RECAP hasn't had an increase in wage in the last 4 years, that's really unacceptable, and that doesn't help the economy when that happens. But if we are dedicated to the population that we're serving, sometimes we'll have to bite the bullet and not get those raises, but that's not the way the economy needs to be for us to flourish as Americans.
And I think that RECAP does a very good job of empowering people to see beyond the limitations of poverty and grasping resources and really taking charge of their life and doing something with those resources.
And we don't need to invent anything new, we just need to look at what's worked to understand that we need to invest both with money and with effort and energy to help those who just need a little hand up, because they are our future, and if we fail them, we're just going to continue the cycle. So it's time to look back, remember what got us here, and help those who are looking for those same opportunities.
Across the developed world, inequality has increased. Some of you may have seen just last week, the Pope himself spoke about this at eloquent length. How can it be, he wrote, that it's not a news item when an elderly homeless person dies of exposure, but it is news when the stock market loses 2 points? But this increasing inequality is most pronounced in our country, and it challenges the very essence of who we are as a people.
And I